Greetings to all my fellow viewers and colleagues. In this video, we will be discussing the Sophtheneko situation, and we will of course debunk her defense claims. Please stay tuned, fellow viewers, after you enjoy this intro.
Welcome back. As you know, Sophtheneko is an art channel that specializes in animation and drawing, as her channel description suggests, with a small disclaimer that her content is oriented to 16+ audience. Keep that in mind because we will go back to it later in the video. Anyways, she makes those animations and drawings to incorporate them in her commentary videos, making some animation memes, and sometimes her gaming live streams. Looking back to her channel history, we could say that she started as a normal animation channel but later on decided to jump into commentary. Recently she has been focusing on making exposed videos on groomers within the art community. Well, if you want to hear about my opinion on her content, I'd say it's average. Because first of all, the animation and art YouTubers in general produce practically the same content format: memes, reactions, commentary. In addition, I noticed that most of the art styles that I see within the community are similar. They mostly focus on the chibi/kawaii art form because of the demand. Most of the fan base seems to be appreciating this art style, and it is easy to produce. Second thing to mention is, this whole animation stuff isn't my cup of tea and I don't seem to be appreciating it much. I used to watch some animation channels a few years back, but now I don't. To be fair, the appreciation of her content depends on how you view this animation niche. Now let us talk about the real deal, the controversies of Sophtheneko. One of my fellow colleagues, Saythe, made a video on Soph exposing her degenerate behavior, and his video got taken down by a false strike for being hate speech at the moment of making this video. Nobody knows who initiated the strike because there's no information confirming of the identity of the striker himself to this moment. His video, however, displays Soph's questionable behavior. I will list the evidence for you fellow viewers. Number one. Soph posts some explicit images and artwork on her Instagram. Not only that, she follows some artists that draw some seriously questionable shit.
The answer is no.
You can see that the artwork she appreciates in Twitter is really disturbing. After the backlash Soph received about that behavior, she quickly removed some of these posts in her Instagram and changed the age number in her page description from 16+ to 18+. As you saw, this removal wasn't done in good intentions by any means. It was right after the video on her started to gain more attention and demands of a response started to rise up. Number two. Soph likes to create artworks that goes into the category of vent art, which is an art form where you, the artist, express your deep hidden emotions, negative ones, in a form of drawings or any artwork. You might say that this is not wrong in paper, but the issue here is that Soph and her supporters use that term a lot to shield her from taking proper criticism. Here are a few examples of these vent arts made by her. There is this one with the caption, KMS, myself, condoning self-harm and suicidal thoughts, and this AMB video posted in her channel when she poisoned some sort of toddler, and her excuse for that is that's a form of event art that expresses this story, the feeling of babysitting dumb pricks that you're friends with. She even defends other artists that make such videos, as you can see here in this post on her channel, by calling the people against it idiots. There are two major concerns here. By going with the definition of vent art, then I could simply produce artworks that involve real gruesome details, like for example, I can picture myself taking revenge on some black man that unalived my parents when I was a kid, or me strangling a bishop because I was molested in church. Moreover, to avoid the backlash, I can simply add in each artwork that these people represent the deep dark ideas buried in my heart of some terrible experiences I had, and it has nothing to do with the group of people I am drawing. You see where this is going. It absolutely makes no sense to defend such productions and label them as vent art. Even if art is all about the freedom of expressing thoughts, it has its own limits. 2. Soph's art is shown in front of an audience that is mostly filled with teens and kids with an age interval of 13 to 16-year-old in average. You may say that she puts a lot of disclaimers in her channel description, in her videos itself, but here's the problem. Soph mostly know that her average audience is filled with fans below her disclaimers recommended age, but the only thing she does is only putting disclaimers in her videos as if it's enough. I know that a lot of YouTubers struggle into building their audiences that tend to be adult-oriented only to find out some underage kids following them, but I think Soph has never intended to build that audience in the first place because of her content nature. The art style and the colors she uses from the beginnings of her channel was always appealing to younger audiences, and hence why she still have a massive portion of her following being under her disclaimers recommended age. After this video made some noise, Soph started to catch some heat and received demands of responding, but strangely enough, she did not. She relied mostly on the art commentary sphere as her defense, even though posting a response video on her channel will go perfectly fine with her type of content, since she makes mainly commentary videos on her channel these last years. One of my subordinates tried to reach her out to see if she is aware about the videos made on her, and her response was, "She's being targeted by the UTTP of all people," which I think is an absurd claim for the following reasons. 1. The UTTP now is practically dead for a while, since most people knew about their tactics of getting attention, so for them coming back now at this time is really useless. 2. The UTTP wouldn't choose a random small channel like Saythe to make a point or a video against a target, and they will never try to hide themselves behind some dude who's never even a member from the first place, because their goal is to get the most attention possible for the group itself, not for some random channel. 3. It is true that the UTTP went on attacking animation channels and gotcha channels, but that was long ago, and I did not see a single video of Soph discussing her experience with the UTTP because she was never attacked before in the first place. Which makes her claim false, because why the fuck the UTTP would attack a random animation channel that they never made contact with in the first place, and she did not even fight them or expose them before. It makes no sense. Although I understand how she drew this conclusion because she got trolled by Saythe supporters that were LARPing too much as UTTP officers, but her reasoning doesn't seem to be making any sense logically. After we reviewed Soph's controversial behavior, I will move on to refute a video made by channel named Graceful, which came as a defense for Soph's side. There were other live streams discussing this situation, but I think debunking this video will suffice, since most of the arguments made in it are practically the same in those other videos and live streams. I will try to debunk only the major points that Graceful made in the videos.
This is misinformation, and I know he's purposely spreading this because in the beginning of the video that you have to see while pressing on the video, it clearly states that this is not a baby and is someone who is represented as a childish person. So he had to see that and still run with the idea that it was a child. That is just completely bad faith.
Although I explained that's why is wrong earlier, but the thing is, even if we go with the idea of representing the infant idea as the childish person as the disclaimer suggests, and also the fact that it's event art, you can't use these 2 points as an excuse to condone her reckless approach with the content she makes. The concerning issue here is the graphic themes she loves to work on is exposed to an audience filler with underage subjects, way lower than her recommended age in the disclaimers. And if you want to argue artistically about that, what in the world do you think this video conveys as a message to the viewers? Let us kill all childish people, for example? Torture them? Harass them? What value that this artwork provides for me, the viewer? You see, it's just plain stupid to defend such behavior under the banner of event art.
The only image that he blurred in his calling NSFW is suggestive, not NSFW. Regardless, I do think it's weird. You probably shouldn't be posting suggestive content to your public account. Stop making it out to be something that it isn't.
Suggestive or not, it's still not okay. Just like people criticizing the Rule 34 artists posting their shitty works on their socials, the same thing applies to Soph, and you partially agreed on that.
Okay, I don't want to assume that these guys will, maliciously, unironically try to, fake shit, but they are, because, they're trolls, so I'm assuming it's fine, but like, when the inspect element starts getting thrown into this shit, that's when I'm like, maybe start documenting, because it's weird.
And if somehow they're real, then why don't you make a video recording of it, huh? Like, why are they just screenshots? It's because they're fake, guys. They're fake.
This is the strongest point that Grace made in his entire video. I do agree that, say, these friends went far with the inspect element trolling shit. But in the screen recording that Soph sent you, we don't see her messages at all. As if she purged them completely, and that makes her move really suspicious. As if she want to hide something in that group chat from the public. You may argue that she's under the attack using inspect element trolling, but that can be easily proven by one simple way. Record all of it, including her messages. Deleting or purging you messages won't even help the slightest. In fact, it makes you more suspicious. Even if you are innocent.
Yeah, that was cringe, and I will say that it's cringe, and whatever, right? That's whatever. Besides the point, they never mentioned that the person that would be in the maid outfit or whatever would be a teenager. They only said that they would be put into a high school. That does not... What the fuck are you talking about? You're just making a false narrative.
That's not even considered a damaging false narrative as you claim. You just admitted it's cringe. So why bother responding to that? Teenager or not? It's still a cringe threat.
Nope, not true. It was J-Dog. And how do I know this? Sophtheneko. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, this is just yap and nonsense. That it's just false narratives after false narratives after false claims after false claims. Like, just delete your video.
You knew about this through a conversation with Soph herself, which doesn't even prove your point. You can't take just her words as proof if you don't even have an actual solid evidence to back up your claim. So in the end, even if we assume that he didn't research the situation and he's wrong as you say, you didn't provide anything to back up your claim for the average viewer watching you who's far less knowledgeable about this situation. All you did is you took Soph's word for granted.
He added someone who was affiliated with the UTTP community. You know, the community that sounds CSAM material around like it's nothing. This Ronos guy ended up trying to raid my server, which failed miserably, and is trying to raid other people that are critiquing him. And I wouldn't be surprised if Saythe had some input in this. Here's the proof for the UTTP shit. You know, it's amazing. Weird you would add someone like this, though. You know, that's kind of interesting. Saythe, do you have any words for yourself? I did really want to hear your response to this. You were going to let your friend add someone who sends and watch CSAM. Are you okay with this? Like, what's going on here? You're a weirdo who hangs around people that are just as disgusting as this guy. Like, what are you doing with your life? You're a college student harassing minors. Is that what you want to do with your time? Along with the fact that you raided my YouTube live chat. That, you know, having people spam, Saythe is winning or whatever. I'm not going to show the proof right now, but you can easily find that by watching my YouTube live if you don't believe me. Either way, it's disgusting that you're doing this stuff.
One of the biggest claims that Grace made here is the alleged Saythe UTTP affiliation. He says that one of Saythe's friends adds Anime Sucks into a group chat with him and provides this screenshot as proof. But I do not see anything proving his point in that same screenshot, or as he was calling for earlier, a video recording.
Then why don't you make a video recording of it?
The screenshot shown here doesn't prove your point. It's just irrelevant. I do not see a connection between the screenshot and the point you made. You showed us a recording of some Saythe supporter trolling you with the N-words, Saythe trying to act like Pack God as you said, but you can't provide a recording of someone adding Anime Sucks into a group chat? That seems disingenuous from your part. Now for the second video he made on the situation. Well, for the most part he was right about the LARPing stuff that occurred when some of his people tried to make false accounts of Dark Crocs and shit. However, he screwed up by looking at past dramas like the one of Road Breach and fell for the same mistake that you were calling Saythe out for in your first video. You didn't do your research properly on the matter of the Road Breach situation. And the claim that you made on him of viewing the CSAM in the anti-troll expose video. No, you weren't the first one to bring this argument up. It was debated in that time with Parlo himself, and it turns out that the Google Doc part that you mentioned wasn't linked by Saythe himself. He didn't link the censored, uncensored version, but it was one of his friends that were in charge of the doc. And guess what? All they did is link a screenshot, not a video file. And the origin of the screenshot is a victim that got sent CSAM to scare her off. As you can see, most of the points that Graceful made in the video were refutable. I would agree, however, with some points he made throughout the videos, but made a mistake by bringing past dramas involving Saythe in an attempt to prove his point, in which he shows his awful lack of knowledge about them.
And that's for today's video, fellow viewers. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in another one.
Excuse me. Sir? I was wondering if you might recognize a girl in this photograph. Sorry to have bothered you.
From saying the N-word
Oh, nigga, you gay!